When I would tell people that I was a singer, people would go, "Oh, like that's so cute. You're a singer,
Mhm.
And I couldn't stand that reaction.
Mhm. Hi guys, thanks for joining us on the Elation podcast today. We're with Marigny Hemenway. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me
Absolutely,
here.
it's good to see you
Yes,
again.
you too. You too.
How have things been?
It's good. Things
Yeah.
all of a sudden have just gotten so busy,
Uh,
and coming here is such a, you know, f- breath of fresh air to just, get away from all the busy stuff. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
happy to
No,
be here.
it's good to do something creative in a busy world of raining and things that we're going through right now, because
Absolutely.
it is not dry outside.
No, it's not. Yeah,
it is.
no.
It is no. In the
Especially
world.
in September.
It is
Yeah.
not dry outside.
Nope.
So tell me a little bit about where you're from.
Yeah. So I'm a native New Orleanian, 504. I grew up in the Lakeview area.
All right. What street? I was Lakeview too.
So I live in the Navarre area, so I'm off of Homedale.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All right.
I'm by like the Homedale bar and like Delgado and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay. All right. So I was in the Crystal Street. Well, I was on Crystal, which is like the Jewel Streets.
oh, so you're by the lake.
Yeah, I was up
Okay,
by the
okay.
lake. Yeah.
Cool, cool. Yeah, no. So I only have lived out of New Orleans when Katrina hit. So I lived in Ohio for like 2 years. My
Okay.
mom's family's from Ohio.
I got
And
you. So the
so
family moved up there?
no, actually my mom she's from
No,
Ohio.
no, but I mean like after Katrina, y'all like chose to
Oh
just go up
yeah,
there. You didn't get
yeah.
moved up there, right?
No, no,
Because
no.
Katrina is all kinds of different things. Some people got displaced like from the state, and then some people just left.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, like, Lakeview,
Yeah,
we got flooded out.
yeah.
So we lost our home, and so we had family in Miami, and so we're like, should we move there for the time being, or should we move up to Ohio? And we're like, how about let's just stay away from like Hurricane Alley. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
you definitely could have been down with another one.
right, yeah.
Yeah,
So we're like, let's just go to Ohio for the time being.
yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
That makes sense.
hmm
All right, where did you go to college?
I went to Berklee College of Music. Yeah, I just graduated in May.
Wow,
Got a degree in music business.
awesome,
Yeah, yeah. So it's going good.
awesome. Is Berkeley something you sought out after, or is it just kind of something that fell in your lap?
Well, in high school, I was an intern at Tipitina's.
Okay,
So I was an intern for the foundation for Tipitina's. And so at the time before COVID, Tipitina's used to be part of the Berkeley City Music Program.
okay.
So if you did an internship at Tipitina's for 4 years, you get a full ride to Berkeley.
Wow,
Yeah, so that's what I did.
that is something I did not know.
Yeah, it's not in existence anymore, so I'm very fortunate I was there during that time
Wow,
in order to.
Tipitina's to Berkeley. That's a
Yeah.
jump.
Yeah, I
That's a
know.
jump.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well,
hmm
tell me about your experience at Berkeley. What was it like? Did you love it?
Yeah, I mean, I really did. So, I did it online.
Okay.
So I never went up there, and it was kind of a blessing in disguise because COVID.
Yeah.
Berkeley shut down for almost 2 years, so
Right.
everyone was online.
Right.
So I was down here, and I was, working and doing school as well at the same time, and so it really worked out well. Whatever I learned in the classroom, I was able to bring it to where I was working at the time, and then vice versa as well. So
Okay.
I loved it.
Okay.
I
Well,
really did.
and music business is something that you started, like that's what you wanted to go for and then you finished, or was it something that you moved into?
It was something I went for.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
What made you decide to go after the business side of music?
that's a good question. I get that question a lot. So
Well, I hate to not be original.
yeah. No, so I a lot of people know me as Marigny the singer.
Right.
So when I would tell people that I was a singer, people would go, "Oh, like that's so cute. You're a singer,
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't stand that reaction. It would
Mm-hmm.
make my blood boil
It's almost
as
pity.
yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
as extreme as it sounds. And so it was actually the company I work for now, Live Nation Music Forward. They had a program when I was in high school where it was like a music industry like development program. And at the time, I did not know they had other jobs. Like oh, you can be like an artist manager or a music producer,
Right.
and you can make good money off of that. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. And so when I really got into the thick of it, I'm like, okay, I want to, do a few internships here and there on the business side of things. And I
Right.
would tell them what I would do, like with other people. People go, oh, okay, cool. And I really liked that reaction. I really felt like I was taken seriously. But now that I look back on it as a singer, like booking gigs and doing promotion, like I'm independent. I'm not
R
signed with anyone.
right.
90% of what I do is business,
Oh, yeah.
and I don't think people understand that. I really do think people think that I just jump on stage and just sing,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is not the case at all. And so,
No, it's 90% business, 10% talent.
for sure,
You
absolutely.
know,
And so I wanted to learn the business fundamentals, and I really tell any artist that is getting into college, I advise you to take a business course. Just
right.
one semester.
Right.
That's it. Just to have, the basics. How to read a contract, how to get things organized. And so
Absolutely.
that's why, and
Well
I knew I could sing. And so when it was time to figure out what I was going to do in college, I'm like, I need to learn the business side. So
well,
that's
it helps you where you don't have to rely on anybody,
right.
and
So
on
true.
on top of that, the money is so tight for independent artists, and, nowadays with the streaming and stuff that I feel like sometimes you have to cut out the managers and
Oh,
the
yeah.
people that do all the paperwork stuff because you could do it yourself. You just have to kinda learn how to do it
Yeah.
and pay
And
attention.
that's one thing I learned at Berklee. They have the DIY method. Try to do everything yourself in order to get the maximum profit as possible.
Right.
And so, yeah, Berkeley taught me all the tools that I needed to know.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, I loved it.
That's awesome. Well, tell me a little bit about what you're what you're doing now with Live Nation.
Yeah, so I am on the nonprofit side called Music Forward. And it's just so crazy how things go full circle because I did Music Forward in high school for 2 years. So, basically my position is I do community engagement for the southeastern region of the United States. So, the Live Nation executives saw after COVID, they had issues getting the younger generation on board for jobs because COVID, there was a break. They didn't really have a lot of development, programs and
Right.
stuff like that. So they thought, well, hey, why not have that generation see what their region needs? And so I do a lot of community advocacy with my job. And
Okay.
so basically, I find different programs that any aspiring like musician or music industry professional, if they want to learn more about the music industry, I provide those resources for them.
I got you. Do
So
you work with
yeah.
any schools?
Not yet. I'm trying to partner with the local universities here, like Loyola,
Okay.
UNO, stuff like that.
Okay.
So yeah.
We actually should talk because I'm on the board of a charter school in Florida
Okay.
that's strictly education. I mean, music or excuse me, entertainment education. They have
Okay.
they have a full sound stage on site. They have like Rolex commercials and Tiger Woods commercials and things that they shoot on site, and the kids get to be the extra hands on the
Whoa.
production
Okay.
set. So
That's
they
awesome.
when they leave, they truly have done some actual work in the field.
Yeah.
And so and a lot of them have gone to do different things, but it's managed by Charter Schools USA, which
Okay.
which has 19 schools in Louisiana, and they're
Okay.
all entertainment based.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And some of them are kindergarten through 12th, some of them are 8th to 12th grade.
Hmm.
But I feel like it would be a great thing
That'd be
to
awesome.
to get involved in,
Yeah.
and have at least have you come talk to some of the kids.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, it'd be so awesome. Yeah.
because I feel
So
like getting them as early as possible
100%
is really important.
is the key for sure. I mean, I have to say, I'm a product of those programs in high school. Like I said, I was an intern at Tipitina's. I did music forward. Anything that I could get my hands on in high school, I
Right.
did. And it's been so beneficial looking back now.
Well, that's good. I
So,
mean, well, you were I guess you were forward thinking in what you were doing, and as well as you had the ambition to get out and try it. You
Mhm.
know, a lot of people don't really have that ambition to get out and try that hard to do something that they love, and
Mhm.
not necessarily didn't even know that they had the option to do it. So
Mhm.
to be able to spread the word and put out some good energy, as well as telling these kids, listen, this you can do this.
Right.
There are ways to do this,
Right.
and then there's just steps you have to take.
Yep. Exactly.
And as well as there are things that can help you, grants, and there are classes and internships that can help you move forward.
Yeah. Exactly.
So helping them make decisions early on definitely sets them on a path.
For sure.
Um, did you have any family influence in your career?
So both of my parents, they are in healthcare.
Okay.
So my dad's a nurse, he was a paramedic. All he did was like trauma, ER, but my mom's a dietitian. However, she was an actress down here.
Okay.
And so this is like during her like finding herself stage in
Yeah.
her life. And
Mhm.
so um yeah, no, she has
So she was
always
creative.
she was creative,
Yeah.
yeah, and so and then from there, she's like, "Well, I gotta, grow up and, like, get a real job," you
Yeah,
know?
don't we all?
Yeah, and so, she was an actress on Frenchman Street at
Okay.
Theater Marigny,
Oh, wow.
and so that's how I got my name,
Okay.
Marigny,
All
so
right.
there we go.
I mean, I knew that there was a correlation somewhere from the
Yeah, she's
Maroney.
like, "If I ever have a daughter," because she thought her doctor said she will never have children, so she had me at an older age, like, in her 40s, and so she was like, I can always only hope, if I ever have a daughter, I'll name her Marinee. So that's how I got my name.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. So because of that though, my mom especially always, I think from a young age they saw that I had something because my parents they never pushed me, like to do
Right.
singing classes or stuff. I was always that kid and I don't know where I got it from. It's weird. Like I was always that kid. I was like, you're gonna sit down and you're gonna hear me sing. Like at Christmas parties that we would get invited to
Right.
and like at school, like I went to Catholic school for 12 years. I was like at noon at recess, you're gonna hear me sing on the church steps. So yeah,
What Catholic school did you go to?
St. Louis King of France.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right.
Yeah.
I asked because I was in Lakeview, so I went to Pius
Okay. Okay.
for grade school, and then I actually went to St. Paul's on Canal Boulevard for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Cool.
Um,
What about high school? Where'd you go to high school?
well, I'll start. It's a loaded question because I got kicked out a few times,
Oh
but
no.
well, I started with Curtis because I wanted
Yeah.
to play football, and
Okay.
then I realized how serious football was at Curtis, and
Mhm.
it deviated me to do devious things, so I got
Oh
kicked
no.
out of Curtis, and I
Mhm.
ended up at Ecole
Okay.
for a little bit, and then I actually moved to Florida right after my sophomore year.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. I went to Ridgewood, so you were our rivals.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So we're shut down now. So it's whatever. I mean,
Well, Eco's still going.
yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But it's funny that story about New Orleans. You always, it's where'd you go to high school is always the
That's
question.
the big question
That's the
for all
big
of us.
question.
Mhm.
Because you want to know, because somehow we're all connected to somebody that we know.
Right.
There's a circle of somewhere, somebody that you know that I know. It's just the way New Orleans works.
Yeah, I always say New Orleans is a big city yet a small town.
Yep.
If you really put like, every all the puzzle pieces together, you're gonna know someone.
Yep. Big
Yeah.
city with a small town attitude.
For sure.
You
Yeah.
know.
Oh yeah.
That's why our politics is all screwed up. We don't know who we are.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. So true.
Well, so tell me about some of the things that music has maybe helped you with in your life, because I know you had maybe a little speech impediment growing up.
Yeah. Yes.
Has music helped you get through some of that?
I would say so. Yeah, I mean that's the reason in the beginning I got into singing. Yeah, so growing up I had a speech impediment with my R's and my S's. And there's something in my brain where when I speak, I just stop and they just like don't know why. I mean, I've gotten through that through like speech therapy and stuff like
Right.
that. But yeah, I got picked on bad in school.
Hmm.
And so it was kind of like I'm gonna prove y'all wrong pretty much. And
Right.
so but yeah, I would say so. Regarding that aspect, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
would think it would. I mean, I've definitely seen it help things like that because it's almost it's training your brain to speak in a different way. So
Yeah.
it's like creates a new path. Like how I see
Yeah.
like the how our electrical system works in our brain is it almost will remap a different way,
For sure. Yeah.
and relearn it, and then that way works better. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Isn't that amazing?
crazy,
It's
right?
so crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a big circuit board. It's got to learn, but it's got to learn by itself.
Yeah, yeah, but I was, like, in speech therapy for, like, 7 years
Wow.
because when Katrina hit, it was a complete, displacement, and so, um, I think that had a toll on me in some ways,
Mm-hmm.
and so because I moved to, like, a completely different town, like, where my mom is from, they have, like, a Mennonite and Amish community there, so for kindergarten, I come from a Catholic school
Right.
going to kindergarten with little, Amish little girls with
Right.
bonnets on,
Right.
it's
That's a
co complete,
that's a crazy like jump,
yeah.
you know.
Oh, yeah.
But I just think it's important to have people understand that music can help them through so many different things,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
So something like that that you grew up with that therapy helped, but I'm sure music in some way definitely helped.
Oh, for sure.
Um, but let's talk about some of your music. I know you worked with some artists in DR.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me what was that about in Dominican Republic?
Yeah, so, I work with a great artist named Fermin Ceballos, and so, he is trying to get more of the, I guess, make his music more popular in America, and
Mhm.
so I guess he said to himself, "Well, let's make my music English and Spanish." And so my family's from Nicaragua,
Okay.
and so my dad's side, and so, he's
Well,
like, "Yeah, do you wanna."
I was gonna say, so not saying your R's was tough then, because you actually have some Spanish background.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, so he was like, "Yeah, do you wanna come join me on a few songs?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So that's a current project that I'm on. So,
Okay.
yeah,
What
yeah.
part of Dominican is he in? Because so my family spends 6 months out the year in Dominican, actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, San Cristobal.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. So they're in Punta Cana.
yeah.
But I love it down there. It's
Yeah,
great.
it's gorgeous.
Yeah. Have
Mhm.
you been down there or?
No, I just seen pictures,
Uh-huh.
and I every time he goes down there, I have something happening here.
Gotcha.
Last time he went down there, I was at the Grammys. So I was
Gotcha.
like, "Okay, well,
Can't miss that.
can't miss that."
No.
That's the
No, but their
gotta
culture
go.
down there is awesome. It's a lot like ours in a sense because it's a little bit of a crossover with the Haitian culture. So like you
Mhm.
go down there, the food's similarly cooked, there's
Mhm.
similar spices and I also feel like they have a little bit of that same hospitality mentality.
Mhm.
Like they I mean, that's why we go down there and spend 6 months out the year.
Yeah.
It's amazing. They're
Mhm.
amazing and we love the country.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about the culture in Latin music right now? Because it's
I mean, it's buzzing for sure
yes, the Latin
regarding
culture is buzzing right now.
regarding especially the music industry for sure. Yeah, so especially in New Orleans, I think they have it's still underground, but it's like emerging, it's like it's about to like really come out,
Right.
So a lot of my friends, they are, in the process. I have one of my friends, Lola, he's an artist manager specifically for Latin entertainment here.
Okay.
And yeah, he said it's a process, but it's coming up.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like I mean, Latin music as a whole over the last few years has
Mhm.
been, being lifted up.
Yeah, it's becoming
Um,
more and more popular.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I almost feel like some of the most fun concerts I've been to recently were some bigger Latin artists.
Mhm.
I mean, music is just it transcends and it's fun,
Yeah, yeah.
especially in a culture that I mean, the rap culture is kind of taking us down a left turn a little bit,
Mhm.
and I feel like some of the dance music out of that culture will pull us out of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Um, well, so you said you're collaborating with them on some songs. Is
Yeah.
a couple coming out soon?
We'll have to see.
Uh-oh, we'll
Yeah.
have to see. Oh, we're
You have
still in
to
the
see.
works.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, good. Well, so what was it like meeting the president of France?
Oh my gosh,
I
yeah.
that's a
Yeah, so
crazy story,
I
I'm sure.
was in his press pool when he came down here for New Orleans.
Okay.
And so I told the people I was working with at the time, I said, I am bound and determined to meet this man. I will meet him. And they said, Marigny, don't, don't give up,
Well, you have to speak things into
Yeah,
existence.
I said I will meet him. And it's like, okay, Marigny, all right. And so I got in and we had to get sniffed by bomb dogs,
Uh-huh. I
gun
bet.
dogs, go through like 3 checkpoints in order to actually get into press pool. And we waited for like 2 hours. We could not have any food or water. So we just sat there and just waiting. We're in Jackson Square at the time. And next thing, we know here he comes. And he's just walking in our direction. And I said, Mr. President, Mr. President. And he's like, puts his hand down, he shakes my hand. And then I met his wife, Brigitte. And yeah, I'm like, see, I told you. I had to speak it into
You have
existence,
to speak
right?
things into
So
existence.
yeah, and so now when I tell French people, I have a lot of French friends. I'm actually going back in next month actually.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to a music conference called Womex in Manchester, but I have like a few days to kill. So I'm like, why not go to Paris?
Why not? Just
Why
why
not?
not go to
Yeah,
Paris?
you only live so long. So yeah, I'm gonna say hey, but when I tell people, French people about that, they're like, oh my gosh, like they treat me like I'm holier than thou.
That's
So yeah.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
where's your favorite place to go in Paris?
That's a good question. Oh gosh. When I was over there at night, I would like to get on the metro and go to the area where Princess Diana got into a car wreck. I'm getting to something,
Wow.
but hang on,
Wow. All right.
but it's right by the Seine,
Uh-huh.
and so it has a gorgeous, gorgeous view of the Eiffel Tower at night, and
Okay.
every hour on the hour, it starts, flickering with the lights and stuff. And there's not a lot of people in that area to watch in. So you're just all by yourself and just watching it go down,
That's awesome.
And so they get, you just watch it for 5 minutes and then you're like, okay, time to go home. So yeah,
That's awesome.
probably my favorite place.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
I actually haven't been to Paris yet, but
you have to.
yeah, no, only place I've actually been over there that way is London, on that side of the pond.
Okay.
But everything else I've been to is kind of South Caribbean
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, I definitely plan on going someday.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother's really into the French history, and we have a lot of French in our bloodline,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I well that's a crazy connection. How did you get in the press pool? Is I guess the biggest question.
Well, they always say it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yes.
So that's basically what happened.
That
Cuz
okay.
I did work in PR.
Got you.
And so I knew a lot of my friends are reporters and I just messaged them. I was like, "Hey, can I join you?" And they're like, "Okay, sure." And so I just joined them
Speak
and
up, I
yeah.
guess is the lesson of this podcast.
No, for
Speak
sure.
up.
Speak up, for sure.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. My attitude is this. The worst thing someone could say to you is no.
Right.
That's it.
Absolutely.
And so that's like my motto. The
Well, and you'll
worst.
never get a yes if you don't answer,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, so I would love to ask you a little bit about Elation because I know you've been here a few times,
Mhm.
and what do you like about this place or this studio? What do you think is cool about it?
Well, definitely I think as an artist, if I were coming here, there's so many different um ways you can show your artistry. You can do it through a podcast, go to the Dolby Atmos studio. That is so cool. The Dolby studio, like my jaw dropped to the floor when I was listening to Rocket
Rocket Man.
Man.
Yep.
I was like, "Oh my gosh," I felt like I was in a different world. Or like the big white
The white wall, yep.
white wall. Like, that's so cool. I mean, like, the opportunities here are endless.
Yeah, well, and you being in music business, you should be able you can see all of the different ways. I mean, you could come in this building and in the beginning of the day and leave at the end of the day with so much content
So
and
true.
so many different lanes of things to put out that it really can help you as an artist.
Yeah, and I feel like also, like we spoke about already, like, everything now as an artist is so independent.
Yep.
And I feel like you can, like you said, grab so many different things for content here,
Yep.
which is so important. So,
Well, and that's kind of why I built this place. So
mhm,
I'm born and raised here, but I was going back and forth. Well, I spent 9 years in LA, and as I was
mhm.
coming back and forth, visiting family and stuff, I've realized that every time I come back here to do some music business while I was in town, the gap of what was actually happening in LA to what was going on down here was huge.
Oh, yeah.
And these artists didn't even actually understand how far that gap
Mhm,
ranges.
mhm.
So, because LA is understood that there is no artist development, and it hasn't been for
Oh
years and
god,
years and
no.
years.
Yeah.
So you have to be independent. You have to figure out the path for yourself and then find a label that's willing to hop on your
Mhm,
wagon
mhm.
because you have to build the wheel. The wheel is no longer given to you by the label.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So there's creative houses, there's video content places, there's music sheds, there's so many different creative outlets in LA.
Sure, yeah.
And I just felt like we didn't have anything here for that.
No, no. And that's another reason why I really got into, like, music advocacy pretty much is because I saw that gap here too, and I saw how there was a need for that specifically in our region.
Right,
And like for myself, I had a long time ago had a bad incident regarding working with not so nice people. It was a very toxic environment,
right,
and it led me down a bad path. And I said, what can I do in order for this to not happen to anyone else
right,
that is wanting to get into the music industry?
right.
And I looked back, and through doing all those like music industry programs, which just completely died out after COVID because there was no
There's
funding,
no fun in here.
I said, that's what I can do. I can, create programs to help the next generation.
Well, I feel like and there's no help down here. Like, I feel like we've been completely forgotten
Zero.
about. Like,
Zero.
why are we in the Memphis chapter for the Grammys?
It's ridiculous.
I
I'm a Grammy U ambassador, and that is always something that I try to say, hey, Memphis, I hate to say this. I'm sorry if I offend anyone on this podcast, but Memphis is dying out. The
right.
music scene is dying out there. But down here, it's just
Well, and
blooming,
to me, it almost never dies down here. Like there's always
Never.
something creative moving down here at some point. We
100%.
are creative, so we move from one thing to the next. It's just that if
Mhm.
somebody national comes out and plucks somebody out of us,
Yeah.
and but I mean, once again, not to offend anybody, but Memphis does not have the same music history as New Orleans has.
Mm-mm.
Why isn't Memphis in the New Orleans chapter? I don't
Mhm.
understand why Memphis took over and what happened, but
I don't know.
we have zero help,
Mm-mm.
nobody building a culture down here.
Mhm.
So hopefully between what you're doing and some of the work that Relation's doing and some other people down here that truly feel the same way.
Mhm.
Hopefully, we can start making a culture down here to where you can take business seriously in Louisiana.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Like the film industry. The film industry needed the tax credits and some of the unions that it got and some of the investment that was made into it to kind of create a culture.
Mhm.
We need the same thing.
Mhm.
We need
Mhm.
investment, we need tax write-offs, and we need the state to get behind the actual
Absolutely.
industry.
Are you doing Music Advocacy Day on October 1st?
I keep getting asked that question. I
You
have,
should.
okay, I'll do it.
You sign up.
I'll
I'll
do it.
send you the link after we're done.
That works. That sounds
Awesome.
good. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, the more chances you have, the better.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
to talk like to speak that into existence, like we were saying,
Yeah.
and get a culture down here.
Mhm.
All right. Well, great. Well, at the end, I'd like to ask everybody, what brings elation to you in your life?
being in the music industry.
There you go.
That's it. I don't
That's
know what else to keep it, keep it short and sweet.
yes. Well, it's funny because it's been such a great thing in my life because I've been able to change myself through music in the industry.
Yeah.
And I feel like without actually the love of music, I wouldn't have been able to change as much as I have,
Right.
which has helped me in other things in my life, my kids and
Sure.
other things. So I love that answer. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks so much for joining us
Thank you
today,
so
and I
much.
appreciate everything. Can
Yes.
you tell everybody where to find you, your socials?
Yes. You can follow me on all social media outlets at Marigny Hemenway. It is spelled Marigny Hemenway Hemenway.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. No relation to Ernest, though, huh?
No.
Okay. All
Zero.
right. Just I had to ask.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, great. Well, thanks for joining us
Thank
today, and I
you. Of
appreciate the
course.
conversation,
Yeah, absolutely.
and hope to have one in the future. Yep.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank
Cool.
you guys for joining us today, where we at Elation, where we enjoy exhilarating euphoria through creation and collaboration.